What is currently happening, programs? Welcome to The Grid, where I'll be bringing you this week's news in VR. It's Friday the 24th of March 2017, and all I can say this week is let's hear it from the big dogs. We've got Bethesda talking up Fallout 4 VR, we've got the co-founder of the Witcher games weighing in on the VR discussion, Obduction Touch updates, Samsung is cranking out the pixels, and much more. Today I'm going to cover off the main events to keep you in the loop. So stay locked, crush that like button, enjoy, and welcome to The Grid.
What is currently happening, YouTube? Facepalm here, your friend in Oz and NZ, bringing you reviews, tutorials, and game clips, minus the You can follow me on Twitter at Facepalm with a 1, not an L. As for here on YouTube, if you like what you find, then like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to bring your game face. Let's get it done.
Well, Fallout 4 VR. We already know it's coming, and we already know that Todd Howard, who is the director and executive producer at Bethesda Game Studios, which is the studio that built Fallout 4, and Pete Hines, who is the vice president and in charge of public relations and marketing at Bethesda Softworks, who are the parent company to Bethesda Game Studios and responsible for publishing Fallout 4, have both previously confirmed that Fallout 4 VR is going to be a full standalone version of Fallout 4, which means that we also know it's not going to be a demo that's just been given the VR once over. But now we know, thanks to gaming personality Hip Hop Gamer, that when Pete Hines asked Todd Howard how Fallout VR was coming along, Todd said, "Pete, Fallout 4 is the most incredible thing you've ever seen in your life. You can't even imagine what it's like playing in VR and how realistic it looks with everywhere you turn your head. It's gonna blow your mind. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen." Well, for one, I'm glad he didn't say that to me because I gotta tell you, Todd, I've seen some serious shit. And I've also seen a DeLorean hit 88 miles per hour, Todd. So yeah, be careful with that statement there, bruh. Following that comment though, Todd continues on to say, "We will have it at E3. No, that was a completely different voice. Either way, this is really exciting. But also, it has me apprehensive, as this is coming from the head of marketing, whose job is to, market shit. But that aside, it's still damn exciting and has me looking forward to an E3 update. The other things of note here is that so far, only the HTC Vive has been confirmed as a compatible headset for Fallout 4 VR. And given that Bethesda is a subsidiary of ZeniMax, which, if you've been keeping up with VR news here on The Grid, you'll know that the Oculus and ZeniMax relationship has been, strained, then I'd be uncertain as to whether the Rift will be supported on release. In saying that, Valve's relationship with Oculus isn't strained, aside from the usual competitive spirit that comes with being a direct competitor in business, and I'll tell you who else's relationship also isn't under strain with Oculus, the handful of people out there more than happy to crack the fuck out of Fallout 4's protection if needed, much in the same way as Revive, which allows Rift exclusive games to be easily played on the Vive. So when it comes to wondering if Rift users will be able to play Fallout 4 VR if it is an HTC exclusive, I think I'll be sleeping okay tonight. However you slice it though, Fallout 4 is coming to VR and you should expect big things and exciting worlds to explore. Speaking of exciting worlds to explore, the Abduction Touch update arrived this week, which means that now, when those cryptic as fuck NPCs give you extremely obscure references disguised as instructions, they'll actually be able to see you do this. Well, you could if the update wasn't so, broken? What I mean by that is the update is actually pretty average. The hands aren't right and the performance issues that previously plagued the game are now worse. It pains me to say this because I love Cyan Studios, but if it ain't broke then don't fix it. But if it is broke, it's hard to find a positive spin. If you want to know what I mean by that, then check out this video here by either clicking on the image on screen now or check the description as it walks you through the complete list of issues I found. But for now, if you've been waiting for this update, then maybe hold off for now. Alternatively, if you just want to play Abduction on a flat screen, however, because outside of VR, this is still a really, really good game, then it's still worth picking up. Or you could be picking up a plastic guitar as Rockband VR hit the Oculus store yesterday. Jason Rubin, who you may remember from Crash Bandicoot and Jak and Daxter fame on the PlayStation 1, who is now the VP of content at Oculus, has taken to Twitter earlier in the week saying, "First major tracked accessory VR game equals Rockband VR from Harmonix on the Oculus Rift. Hope you saved your free clip." And the free clip he is talking about is the one that came included with the touch controllers, in case you were wondering what that was. So no, it's not a futuristic fashion statement. The game itself looks promising, though I haven't tried it as I don't really get into these games at all, which is my personal preference based on the fact that I play real guitar, and playing a plastic version of the real thing doesn't really excite me. I mean, would you really play Fallout 4 VR in the Rift if you could just venture out to the Commonwealth and die in real life? Okay, bad example. Still, Rockband VR is now there if that's your thing, and if you have touch, and if you saved your clip, as well as pre-order the plastic guitar for it, and have a Rift, and a VR-ready PC. Then yeah, I suppose you can rock out with your... Marcin Iwinski, who is the studio co-founder of CD Projekt Red, who famously produced the Witcher games, obviously including the fantastic Witcher 3, has given his thoughts on what he sees as the state of the VR industry. In a recent interview with Glixel, Marcin said, "We are observing VR with interest. We are telling stories. If VR can help us, we'll definitely consider it." Now, to me, this definitely doesn't sound like they are doing anything with VR at the minute, which, to be honest, still kind of baffles me a bit, because they could essentially do what Bethesda are doing with Fallout 4 and just mod the Witcher 3 game themselves as a VR-compatible, standalone experience and then cash in. I mean, all the assets are already there for the game, aren't they? And all we have to do is look at how the Doom 3 mods have panned out, which is obviously different because the Doom 3 mods are community built by devs in their own free time. It is a proof of concept, and that concept is that first-person games not built for VR initially can be fucking rad in VR with some tweaking. So why not just get an in-house team to do the same with the Witcher series? There's no requirement to reinvent the wheel here and create an entirely new VR experience straight out of the gate, but there is definitely nothing stopping companies from dipping their toes in the VR water on the cheap just to try it out either. The article also had some other interesting points in it around why CD Projekt Red may be waiting to get involved in VR, mainly to do with Marcin's issue with VR sickness and the fact that they seem to be waiting for a killer VR app before they commit to anything VR themselves. You can check the description below for a link to that article. For me, all I have to really say at this point is, Marcin, mate, if you don't want to do it yourself, just release the game code for The Witcher 3 and let the community do to The Witcher series what they've done to Doom 3, and then just sit back and cash in on some late-to-the-party Witcher 3 sales. Anyways, G. Godin, who is the guy who created Virtual Desktop, has advised that Steam will no longer bundle Oculus Home keys from a Steam purchase of this software after the 24th of March, which is today. This means that if you want to buy Virtual Desktop, you will now need to pick your side. Heads up, the Steam version is a little more expensive as it allows you access to the Environment Workshop, whereas the Oculus Home version does not. A source who attended a private Samsung demo at Mobile World Congress, which is the world's largest gathering for the mobile industry, has said that Samsung have shown off headsets with 1200 ppi, or pixels per inch, and have said that considering the technology completion, they expect to show off a 1500 ppi panel in the near future. For comparison, the Rift is only 461 ppi, so that's quite an increase, which is obviously good. But it also doesn't mean a lot as we don't know the size of the panels themselves or the field of view. And it's these factors that dictate the actual pixels per degree of the displays, which ultimately tells us the perceivable quality of the image to our eyes. Even so, Samsung are working on things, and these things are likely to be good for VR in the future. If I was to get my speculation hat on, I'd say that Gen 2 of the Rift will be pretty damn good, looking from this far out that is. The Oculus Tray tool, which I cover in this video here, has been updated. It fixes a bug where users who have underscores in their usernames were seeing a drop in performance. And it also adds a handful of features, including launching Steam VR by voice. The next version will also have an option to add Steam VR as an option from Oculus Home using the replacement method, as well as a handful of other additions and fixes. And you can check the description for a link to the new update. Stay tuned to this channel though, as I'll have an updated video on this awesome free software once the next update is available, as it is, in my opinion, currently the best app for things like super sampling. Speaking of super sampling, Volga Askoy, who is an Oculus programmer, has advised on Twitter that using tools like the Oculus Debug tool and the Oculus Tray tool to increase the pixel density, aka super sample, to a value of 2 doesn't double the amount of pixels and therefore graphical lifting power required, it actually quadruples it, which is something that I've mentioned before. This is because a value of 2 doubles both the horizontal and the vertical pixels rendered, therefore quadrupling the amount of total pixels rendered. So just keep this in mind when super sampling, otherwise your GPU may hate you and the game. And finally, MPC-HC can now decode MVC-MKV Blu-ray RIP files directly. So instead of having to use stereoscopic player or convert your Blu-ray ripped MKV files to an SBS format before watching them in stereoscopic 3D, MPC-HC now supports that directly. And you can check the description below for a link on how to do that. And that's this week in VR on the grid. If you have more you would like to add, then hit me up in the comments below and let's discuss. And if you like this video, then crush that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!
Thanks for watching today's video. Just remember you can follow me on Twitter at facepalm with a 1, not an L. As for here on YouTube, if you like what you find, then like, comment and subscribe. But don't forget to bring your game face. Facepalm out.